folks, guns, gear, and on-target training. I wanted to chat with you today about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and it should be to yours as well, and that is firearm safety. Every responsible gun owner owns firearm safety for their actions, and if they see something unsafe, saying something to someone perhaps who's doing something that might be unsafe. I want to tell you a story. I was at a range back east, and in that range there was a shooting hut, and the protocol was if someone was shooting and someone was approaching, as long as they were behind the firing line, totally fine. I was shooting, no one else was there, holstered my gun, walked down range to change target, saw a guy who I know coming in behind me, and I thought he was just going to, set up his stuff, come out and hang a target. Well, I turned again, and this gentleman was walking toward me with his .22 pistol pointed at me. And it wasn't aimed, it was just pointed in my direction. I jumped out of the way and screamed, "Muzzle!" And he said to me, "What's your problem? It's not loaded." Now, what's interesting about this incident is this specific gentleman claimed to be a colonel, claimed to have special forces training, and claimed to be an expert pistol shot. Well, he may have been all those things. However, his lack of firearm safety and the very fact that he had a gun pointed at anything he was not prepared to destroy or buy, that was destroy me or hurt me in some way, showed ignorance or apathy toward the 4 rules of firearm safety. So I wanted to take a moment today talking about those 4 rules and why they're important. Rule number 1, treat all guns as if they're loaded. And the second part of that rule is know the condition of the firearm that you're handling. With a semi-automatic, this gun, we've done 3 safety checks before even starting this video. I've got dummy rounds in here. I've confirmed that 3 times. Nevertheless, I'm going to go through my standard basic safety check. I'm going to work the slide. First thing I did was remove the magazine. I'm going to work the slide briskly 3 or 4 times. I'm then going to visually inspect. I'm going to manually inspect. And now that I know this gun is unloaded, I can choose to do whatever I want with it. If I'm at a range and I'm choosing to fire, I can go ahead and insert the mag, chamber around, and go hot. If I don't want to do that, and I simply want to be able to do the rest of this demonstration without a magazine in the gun, well, I've confirmed it's unloaded. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, never point the muzzle of the gun at anything you were not prepared to destroy or buy. That means I need to control at all times my muzzle and where it's going, because a safe direction might be different on different ranges or in different situations. If I were on a 3rd floor apartment doing this video and there were people below me, pointing the muzzle of the gun down would not be a safe direction. If there were houses around me, pointing the gun in any direction here to manipulate the weapon would not be safe. Maybe the only way I can orient the gun to manipulate it is straight up. Conversely, if there's someone above me, the only way I can manipulate the gun is straight down, right? So anything that I'm doing, reloading the gun, checking its condition, anything like that has to be done in a safe direction. Rule number 3 says, I am not going to put my finger on the trigger of my gun until my sights are aligned, and I've made a conscious decision to do so. My good friend, Greg Cruz, former chief instructor at Smith & Wesson, highly decorated combat vet, amazing instructor. His terminology is on target, on trigger, off target, off trigger. OT, OT. I'm on target, fingers on trigger. I can do what I want, press my shots. As long as my sights are on target, I can continue to stay on the face of the trigger. Immediately when I break from target, my finger needs to go straight and along the frame. And then the last one, know your target and what's beyond it. Occasionally I see these YouTube videos with people out there and they're shooting, in a field, or they're in the desert somewhere, and maybe they know what is, I don't know, a couple thousand yards beyond them. maybe they know. Maybe there's a great backstop. Maybe they've gone back there and cleared that area so they know a camper's not there, someone's not wandering out there, someone hasn't gone to walk their dog out there. Maybe they know that. For me, I prefer to have a berm, a way to stop the impact ball, and I'm always going to actually go confirm the berm. I was a member of another club, and ceasefire, folks walked down range, and they were coming back down range, and they noticed kids climbing over the berm from the other side of the range and going behind what was the backstop. How could that possibly happen? Well, the guy who brought his kids to the range wasn't keeping track of them. Now, fortunately, people were situationally aware and no one got injured. But that's the reason that you actually walk out if you can. Just inspect the backstop, right? You know whether or not something's there. You're responsible for every round you fire, and as a citizen who owns a firearm, any type, you're responsible for safety. Bottom line, guys, firearm safety is a lifestyle choice. It's a lifestyle choice. It's a choice I'm making, and hopefully you're making, to make sure that you're safe and you're not going to do anything that's going to hurt you or someone else or cost you money. Yes, I do know people who've had a negligent discharge through their television. The gun was unloaded, they thought. They'd eject the mag, but they'd never check the chamber. So bottom line is, I hope you'll join me in focusing on the fundamentals rules of firearm safety all the time, whatever you do, and making a personal lifestyle decision to abide by those rules and live them. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack from people saying, we know. In fact, frequently at the beginning of my videos, in most of my videos, you'll see the 4 rules of firearm safety. And people say, why do you always post that? Well, I always post that because it's pretty important to me and it should be pretty important to you. Thanks so much for watching. Finally, and as always, stay safe.